What's the most shocking thing you've ever seen someone do in court? From excessive crying to violent outbursts, some courtroom reactions are so over the top, they have to be seen to be believed. Today, we're counting down 10 dramatic reactions from female inmates receiving life sentences that will leave your jaw on the floor. Stick around until the very end, because we saved the most unbelievable courtroom freakout for last. Number 10. Roxana Sikorski. At number 10 is Roxana Sikorski, a 15-year-old girl who burst into tears when she was sentenced to 20 years in prison in 2014. Sikorski was convicted of assault for attempting to kill her younger brother at the urging of her adult boyfriend. During sentencing, Sikorski sobbed uncontrollably while her mother pleaded for leniency, stating she was misled by an older man. But the judge handed down a lengthy sentence despite her age, triggering Sikorski's emotional breakdown. Number 9. Sandra Lane. Sandra Lane, a 75-year-old woman, was drowned in tears when she received 40 years for murdering her 17-year-old grandson in 2013. Lane claimed she shot him 10 times in self-defense during an argument, but the victim's mother cheered on as Lane was sentenced, even asking the judge for the maximum punishment. The sight of an elderly woman weeping hysterically over her decades-long sentence was difficult for many to witness. Number 8. Vonda Smith. In at number 8 is Vonda Smith, who killed a pregnant 21-year-old woman in 2016. Smith smiled and hugged her lawyer before sentencing, but broke down crying when the judge handed her a life sentence. Smith's excessive show of emotions shifted rapidly from upbeat to despair in mere moments, highlighting the severity of her life without parole fate. Number 7. Shelby Isaac. 18-year-old Shelby Isaac made a dramatic scene in 2016 when she got 30 years for murdering her hair salon owner and his pregnant girlfriend. Isaac screamed and collapsed to the floor before being wheeled out of court by officials. The overwhelming realization that she'd spend her youth locked up triggered this intense physical reaction. Number 6. Shaina Huber. Shaina Huber showed zero emotion in 2012 when given life for killing her boyfriend Ryan Poston. The 21-year-old stared blankly and gave a robotic apology that enraged the victim's family. They called her out for never once saying she was sorry, despite shooting Poston 6 times. Huber's cold indifference to her sentence was shocking. Number 5. Mitchell Blair. Mitchell Blair expressed no remorse while pleading guilty to murdering 2 of her children in 2014. Blair matter-of-factly admitted to killing her 13-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter by beating and starving them. Her calm demeanor while accepting a life sentence for the horrific abuse disturbed many in the courtroom. Number 4. Elizabeth Escalona. Elizabeth Escalona broke down sobbing and apologizing in court after being shown photos of her fatally abused 2-year-old daughter in 2012. The images triggered immense guilt and emotion in Escalona over the brutal beating. Her dramatic shift from violent abuser to weeping mess showed her comprehension of the damage she had done. Number 3. Erica Butts and Shenita Cunningham. Erica Butts and Shenita Cunningham had 2 of the most intense breakdowns after receiving life for beating a 3-year-old girl to death in 2009. The women wailed loudly before collapsing to the ground and convulsing in court. Their over-the-top reaction revealed the harsh reality of spending life in prison finally sinking in. Number 2. Diana Lovejoy. The number 2 most dramatic reaction goes to Diana Lovejoy, who completely faked collapsing when she heard she'd get a life sentence for arranging to have her husband killed. When the guilty verdict was read out in court, Lovejoy suddenly grabbed her chest, let out a gasp, and pretended to pass out by falling over unconscious to her right. The court session had to be temporarily suspended as Lovejoy was wheeled away to a nearby hospital. But it turned out her supposed fainting spell was all an act attempting to get sympathy and avoid consequences for the conniving murder plot she had orchestrated. Lovejoy's exaggerated theater performance and fake medical emergency didn't get her out of the lifelong prison sentence the judge delivered once she was back in court. Her over-the-top stunt proved she would stop at nothing to try and manipulate her way out of punishment for the premeditated murder. Number 1. Bonnie Dwart. And the number 1 most shocking inmate reaction is Bonnie Dwart's disturbing lack of emotion after killing 3 teens while driving drunk. The woman stared blankly and gave a flat apology to the victims' families when sentenced to 45 years in 2018. Her deadpan demeanor and the absence of any remorse or emotion was incredibly disturbing. That wraps up our countdown of the top 10 most shocking reactions from female inmates after receiving their sentences. From dramatic crying to violence and everything in between, these women had intense responses to facing life behind bars. Let us know in the comments which case you thought had the most intense reaction during sentencing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime videos like this one. Thanks for watching.